Live visuals on your screen of a campaign rally being held in Florida by Donald Trump, and from the looks of it, it seems like he might just be becoming the next president of the United States. We're talking about the Republicans there who have in fact won in two swing states. We're talking about the state of North Carolina as well as Georgia. Those two key battleground states have been won by Republicans. We're talking about Donald Trump winning there, and even in other swing states, we're talking about four other swing states where Donald Trump is in the lead. So it is Trump, this show of strength. That is what New York Times is saying. The Republicans are in the lead. There you can see numbers on your screen of Donald Trump winning at 247 with Kamala Harris at 214. Do remember this was a neck-to-neck race up until yesterday, but all that seems to be changing at the moment. And let's just go right across to our colleague Jennifer Glassey, who is joining us from Florida and taking us through what's really happening on the ground.
This is the convention center right here. This is where Donald Trump is expected to address the public. We understand that they are moving people from Mar-a-Lago here. We've seen two motorcades come here so far. There was a helicopter overhead, so that might have been J.D. Vance when they moved him from the convention center back to Mar-a-Lago earlier today. That was the formation that they used. So we are expecting Donald Trump to speak from here at some points. But as the point has been made, many of the swing states have not yet been called. I think until he feels he has a very clear path to 270 or a clincher on 270, he may wait. But we do understand that folks from Mar-a-Lago, about 2.5 miles that way, are heading here to the convention center ahead of Trump's speech. There's been a real sense of excitement here. People have been lining the streets here. People were behind me just a few minutes ago with Trump flags. The motorcades went in just over there. As you can see, there are security fences all around the convention center, but traffic is flowing pretty freely. A huge security presence here, though. They have shut down streets here and there. They shut down the roads when the convoys make a move. But very much excitement among Trump supporters here today. They've gathered here in large numbers. They were lining the street earlier, and you can see some of them now moving out because all the action's going to move inside.
Right, and of course, Kamala Harris seems to be losing out as far as those battleground states are concerned. That really holds the key to who will win. And Trump has managed to flip a victory in states which had voted Democrats in 2020. We're talking about Donald Trump flipping Georgia in a huge setback to Kamala Harris. And it is Donald Trump who seems to be leading as far as the swing states are concerned. It is quite a huge setback to Kamala Harris, who was, as you know, in the race to become the first woman president of the United States. But there you can see numbers on your screen of her at 214 with Donald Trump at 247. So Donald Trump in the lead in all the swing states. As of now, 6 out of the 7 swing states is where Donald Trump is leading with a huge margin. That's what we are seeing. It was a very razor-thin margin that we were seeing early this morning, but all that seems to have changed with Donald Trump really flipping states which were basically all Democrats, and they were supporting Democrats, but now it seems to be that they want a change. Could it be because they saw Kamala Harris as someone who would perhaps follow in the footsteps of Joe Biden? Is that why that they wanted a change, which is why they voted in for Donald Trump? Of course, there was a lot of stars supporting Kamala Harris. We saw Lady Gaga as well as Oprah Winfrey, a lot of film stars, movie stars and singers supporting Kamala Harris. And on the other side, Elon Musk, the biggest supporter that Donald Trump has. So, of course, how does this really change things for us back here in India? How will the relationships between India and US change under the regime of Donald Trump, who seems to be in the lead at the moment? And if he is set to become the next president of the United States, if he's going to make his re-entry into the White House after that huge loss that he suffered to Joe Biden in the last term in 2020. So how different can it be under Donald Trump? Can he really take care of the war in Gaza and in Ukraine? That's the big question. Donald Trump has been heard saying that if it was for him, there would never be a war in Ukraine. Well, and let's just also go across to Ashok Sajanhar, a former diplomat who is joining us on the broadcast. Let's Mr. Sajanhar, it seems like Kamala Harris might be on the losing end here, especially when it comes to the key battleground states.
Yeah, that's what it appears. And, it was really the key battleground states which were, the key to the presidency, to the White House. And because we had seen that, there are the red states and there are the blue states. And, there was not much change that was expected to be as far as those states are concerned. So it was the 7 battleground states with 93 electoral college votes that would have pushed either of the two candidates across the 270 mark. And what we see, unfortunately, for Kamala Harris, that she is stuck only with the blue states. They are the ones who have voted for her, and all the 7 battleground states seem to be going the Trump way. So that is a huge disappointment for her. And of course, Trump will project it as a vindication of his position that, the election in 2020 was stolen from him. He had won the election right and square, and, it was taken away fraudulently from him. So this is the narrative that he's been painting all this while. But obviously, what is clear from all this that has been that has happened, so very quickly over the last few hours, is that the issues raised by Mr. Trump, they have been able to get resonance. They have been able to have a connect with the people of the country, and particularly of the battleground states. And the positions raised by, the issues that were projected as the most important ones by Kamala Harris, they unfortunately have not been able to hit the right chord. They have not been able to get the pulse of the people, so to say. So that is where we find ourselves today. But we'll really have to wait and see as to whether all the promises that Mr. Trump has been making as far as deportation of the illegal migrants, stopping of the war in Ukraine, etc., and giving a boost to the economy and implementing the 60% tariffs against products coming in from China. I think we'll really have to wait and see whether he's able to implement any of those in the coming weeks and months or not.
Right. We also have Jayant Krishna, Senior Fellow, Center for Strategic and International Studies, joining us. When we talk about Donald Trump there, like Mr. Sajjan mentioned, that it seems like Donald Trump is winning all 7 battleground states. Something that the Democrats scored 6-1 back in 2020. And if Donald Trump is becoming the new president of the United States, questions really looms over how a second Trump administration might impact the India-US relationship. As a candidate, Trump has been very clear that he intends to revamp the United States foreign policy, focusing on America first. So how does this change things around?
Yeah, see, fundamentally, I see, if you look at now, it's almost a writing on the wall that Trump is going to win the elections, with, almost 247 seats where he's leading vis-a-vis 214 where Kamala Harris is leading. And New York Times calls a 95% chance of Trump getting into the White House once again. So I think fundamentally I see this is a victory of, if at all, of course, victories are yet to be announced and it will take a few more hours or perhaps a couple of more days. It's men over women, more whites over non-whites, non-graduates over graduates, blue collared over white collared. I think, these are the kind of things which seem to have prevailed in the US. As far as India is concerned, I think a couple of things. Joe Biden was rather good to India, in multiple ways. Trump has always said that he's a very close friend of Prime Minister Modi. But I don't think it has translated into anything beyond verbosity and beyond, certain gesturing and posturing. It hasn't really. If you look at, he has talked about visas being curtailed, and He's talked about import tariff, and he's talked about two countries in particular, China and India, where import tariffs will go up to protect the domestic industry. None of this is going to be good for India at all. So I think when the Trump and Modi friendship is being talked about, I think our Prime Minister must negotiate what that friendship means for India. What does that friendship bring on the table for our country? I think that's very, very important. Otherwise, if you look at U.S. and Indian trade, in one of the very few countries where India has a trade deficit in its favor, which means that there's a deficit on the U.S. side in terms of imports, in terms of trade. So if the tariffs go up, it's going to impact very, very surely. And visas also, I hope it was only a posturing by Trump and he doesn't take it seriously. Because one thing is very clear, if America gives more visas to Indians, they're not doing us a favor. As a matter of fact, Indians go and meet their skill deficit very, very effectively. And also it makes their industry more competitive, not only in the domestic context, but internationally, globally. Because by Indians working there, it brings cost advantage, it brings the skills advantage, and multiple things. I think U.S. economy needs India.
Right.